Herzlich willkommen, liebe Zuschauer. Hello, welcome to Königssee in Bavaria, to the second of our runs, race 3 of the Men's Skeleton World Cup. Hello, everybody. Martin Haven, John Morgan, looking into a fascinating second heat.
Thomas Dukars of Latvia, you know, the veteran, one of the tallest guys in the field, knows the track well, perfect form, and he's in a bronze medal position. His brother, Martin Dukars, who's won the first 2 events of the year, he's won 39 World Cup times in his career. But on this day, perfect form, he gets to the bottom, but he's not on the lead. It's the Russian rocket, Alexander Trechikov. The best start and the track record at the bottom. He's got a lead by only 0.02 of a second. Great competition coming up here for you from a very challenging track here in Königssee.
Well, there is Dukars. You saw Tretiakov. They're both ready to go at the top of the track. And as you said, John, just 0.02 of a second in it. Thomas Dukars there battling for third spot. Fast 20 from our field of 26 go into the second heat. And Ronald Odderset of Switzerland will be the first to go. And the last will be our current leader, Alexander Trechikov. 0.02 of a second. You may as well consider he and Martin Dukars to be tied for the lead. And whatever happens in this second run will decide it. Ronald Odderset from Switzerland then managed to make it into the cut. His teammate just failed to do so. But the more experienced of our Swiss duo, 26-year-old Odderset, gets the second heat underway.
Probably one of the smallest guys in the field. Start, you know, he doesn't get the great start time. He had the 18th best start time in the first run and had a lot to do with why he's in 20th place. But he had some pretty good lines down the track, which got him into the field, top 20.
Little quicker start, 600s faster, and that might mean that the start track is getting quicker and the record may fall later in the run.
This is good speed compared to his first run. He was nowhere near that type of speed the first run. It's good lines.
As the weather warms up, the sheen on the ice gets greater. It becomes a little faster.
He was 3 kilometers better. Kreisley's 2 kilometers better there. This track is faster than the first run.
And that means we'll see more records fall, and
51.22.
0.8 of a second quicker.
0.8 better. Well, if everybody goes 0.8 better, the track record, which was lowered by 0.4 in the first run, will get lowered again.
Yesterday, Tina Hermann blew the track record away by 0.6 of a second. Ronald Odderset, that's a good second run. Of course, now he's got the very best virgin ice, whereas he was 18th out in the first run.
Yeah, watch his knees. Now look at that. His knees hit the sled first. They usually try and get your quads or your hips to hit first in that very delicate exercise of jumping on this little tray. Then you got to go 75 miles an hour down the track. Look at his eyes. He's the leader.
Big smile for Ronald Odderset. He leads, and that's a really good second run.
Yeah, you go 0.8 better in your second run. Whoa.
Han-Sin Lee of Korea is next up. Again, the older of the 2 Korean athletes, but his teammate Sunbin Young is aiming for the medals. 4th after the first heat.
Doesn't get a great start. 11th wasn't bad. 11th best start's not bad. Middle of the pack. But he had some problems in the Kreisel, exit of Kreisel.
That's what really tripped everybody up in the first run, isn't it? The Kreisel was really hard work for them.
When you start to see their feet separate, then you have some steering issues, and then you have some lack of speed at the bottom part of the track if they have to drag their feet. There's one. Probably got to hit here at least once.
He was 1,800s in front of Ronald Odderset in the first heat, and he might struggle to hang on to that lead. Slower into the Kreisel by a kilometre.
Exit here, that's where he had his problems in the first run, and there he has problems in the second run. Red numbers to the next clock, he's going to lose his lead.
Well, the good news is he was 19th. He can drop no lower than 20th, but he will lose the place.
Well, he's 0 for 2. He's, you know, over the curve that they call a challenge.
Yeah. That exit to the Kreisel down into the doodles. He just drilled the wall. He was 500s up. He comes across the line 0.4 back. So Ronald Odderset stays in the leader's box.
Turbodrome is the name of that Kreisel in Germany. Yeah. That's challenge, and then the exit of it is, see, here it is now. Look how he's low. He's going to go up high.
Oop.
And now he's got a big challenge with the bump. And through the doodles. Hey, look at him, look. He knows. He's the first guy to know that there's a problem.
Next up, Ed Smith for Great Britain. 18th off 11th fastest start. Smith coming off 2 hip surgeries in the summer. Starting to feel a little bit more of the pace. Now, Ed should really be in the top 5 or 6 starters, and when you don't have that acceleration at the beginning, it's hard to carry the speed all the way down the ice. Top half of the run was good for Ed. The man from Bristol, from the Kreisel on, trouble all coming undone.
You know, good start. But his issues, as you said, were down below. 11th best start, which means he should be in the top 10, 12. He's got a great experience. But we noticed when he got off the sled, he took 5-8 seconds before he got off that sled. So it looked to me like he was in quite a bit of discomfort.
Struggling in the bend away, that's a little better now. Can he get the Kreisel exit right?
He has no speed entering this curve compared
up in the frost.
To the
and just avoids the walls. And here we go. Now, this is where you try and keep on board what you've got. He might be close enough to hold his place. 14 for Alderset, so he is going to drop a spot.
Back at least 2 spots. 1 spot, maybe 2. Yeah, 1 spot. Okay. Second best time, 51.74. 10 hundredths better. Or he's 4 hundredths better than his first run. But just can't get through the turbodrome, or the Kreisel, as they call it. Like we saw, Ronald Otterside had a great run. Yeah. He went 8/10 better in the second run. And here, Ed, Ed Smith's only going 4 hundredths better, but Otterside did not do this.
Long skid there on the bend
feet
away.
Apart. Look at the feet apart, too.
Yeah, using the knees there to steer. And again here, you can see the toes.
Going down. Now he's going to come back up centrifugal force. Look at the red marker.
Head steers away from the wall.
Look at that red marker there. So that's a good way to indicate you shouldn't be up there near that.
Okay, Ed, 3 weeks rest and recuperation could do a lot for him, I think, over the winter. Mattia Gaspari, the only one of our 2 Italians to get through. Joe Cecchini didn't make the cut, but Mattia, the 22-year-old from Cortina, just outside Cortina d'Ampezzo, in the Italian Dolomites, he made it through into 17th spot. Ronald Ottersett, our current leader. And Mattia was very nearly half a second faster.
482 start. 20th best of the first run. Quiet load on the sled. Look at the eyes. Look at the curveball. Let's see if he hits it too early. Not bad. Very, very nice.
Nice smooth run with a skeleton that you don't get with the bobsled, because you can rise up there and come down off it.
Speed is decent. He's got 3/10 lead, but he can throw that away with 1 more hit here. No, he comes pretty straight. 119 and change he should have for speed. No, he's got 120, even better. Now let's see if he can exit the turbodrome or the Kreisel. Yes, he does. Very nicely.
Here we go.
Very good
tenths of a second up. Gaspari into the lead. And he was 39
Big speed. Might be the second best speed, but he's accelerating away.
Excellent run. Well, he had half a second in hand in the first heat, and he comes across the line nearly
63 hundredths quicker. So here's an athlete who, if he did that in the first run, he'd be down there chasing the top 10.
And this is the deal with the younger guys. It's getting the consistency, having the experience to anticipate the change of conditions.
Look at the coach, pile of the athlete. Now watch this, does he get his knee on first? Oh, he looks a little late. He didn't power himself onto that sled. But here in the turbodrome, who's got the best speed, or not the turbo, I'm sorry, Kelstein. Look at this, Otterset still with the best speed. He was the first guy down the track, but still, keep track of those speeds, because after here you exit, you go uphill. And boy, no mistakes allowed.
Nice run, Mattia. Muy bien. Oh, that's Spanish, isn't it? Next up is, my Italian, great. Next up is Dave Swift. Well, Swifty, how relieved did he look? How excited did he look to get that top 20 first run under his belt? For the first time this season, he makes the cut. And that could be the run that turns his season in the right direction. 16th after the first of our 2 heats. But this man, watch him explode off the blocks.
5th best start the first run. He'll have the best start here so far. There it is, 564. So he improves by 400. Oh, but he hit that take on a little bit violent.
Just chatting to his mum and dad between the runs. And this is really what he needs now. He's in the second heat. Just relax onto the sled. Let it do what he knows it can
Good
do.
clean there. There's a 3/10 lead. That's relative to the start. 119 at least speed because the Swiss had awesome, and the Italian had 120 speed too. So can he get out of here? No.
Not bad. He was only 100th in front of Gaspari from the first
He's
heat.
going to lose all that. Probably 110 speed down here. There it is, 111. He's going to fall back at least one spot, unless he can. No, he's going to fall back more than that. He's going to fall back, yeah, maybe one. He couldn't get through. Third best time around. Couldn't get through the Turbodrome. The Kreisel. Eric Benotis, the U.S. athlete, former U.S. athlete, the coach. But you got to exit Kreisel, the Turbodrome, and get into the doodles, the little chicane, to have a good time on the bottom part of the track. And he didn't do that. Good start, though. Hey, he made the top 20. First 2 events, he was 21st and 21st. Here, he could do no worse than a top 16 finish.
Fraction late coming down, hits the wall.
And watch this, out of control. Toe dragging, not the way you want to enter the Kelstein curve, named after the mountain right behind the track.
There's Andy Marambo down there offering congratulations to him. Swifty makes the cut, and that might mean that he's on tour in North America. Mattia Gaspari leads the first 5 of our 20 athletes down. Marc-Antoine of the USA, 3rd place in this race in January 2015. In December 2015, he is in 15th spot. A man who needs to find his mojo.
The bronze medalist from the 2014 games, who had the 3rd best start, has lost his start. He had the 23rd best start. And again, he's not injured. He just had training this summer with a radical plan to try and improve so he could catch Tretyakov and do cars. And the radical plan didn't work. He abandoned it a month ago. Last week we saw him in the hotel after the race. What was he doing to relieve his frustration? He was lifting weights in the parking garage.
Well, he hasn't forgotten how to slide. But when you start 23rd in the field, getting into the top 3 is
good speed here, though. This is a much better run. His first run, he was pretty loose coming out of the S's. Here, down 100. So this is a good run. And if he can get to the 116, 17 speed, he could be the leader. No, does not have the speed. And out of the Echo Bond, he got up there too high. So he's going to fall at least one spot, but his nemesis, some of the good lines. 4th best time of the run, 2nd overall. Coach Tuffy Latour can only ponder what happened to my athlete's start.
He started better when he was running hurt before he had surgery a year out from the games.
He says he's fit, but the radical changes. There he is, and through the doodles or the chicane, not perfect, probably.
And the problem is when he's starting so slow,
no mistake allowed.
The track is a different beast to the one that he knows how to drive. He's trying to drive something with much less speed than he's used to. It doesn't work. In the same way that if
you the look at his face.
Yeah.
Look, see that? I tell you,
can't get home soon enough.
We know, Matt.
Yep. Well, Alexander Tretyakov doesn't have the starting issue, but 200s in front after the first heat. Could go either way. Mattia Gaspari lives in the leader's box. Behind him, Marc-Antoine Dave Swift of the USA. Next up is the 3rd of our British sliders. All 3 Britons below the top 12. Not where they need to be. So Don Parsons started 10th quickest, came down 14th in the first heat.
Start was decent. One of the taller guys in the field, like Matt Antoine. Thomas Ducars. Watch the feet here as he goes in these 4S's. Snake curves. Feet parked there a little bit. Now watch the exit. Can he come clean out of here? Slingshot effect. Should tap just once, right there. Now he should come straight. Toe drag.
Best speed we've seen out of the S's so far. 119, second quickest.
Can he get out of here clean?
Hear the noise. Big steer on the final element of the Kreisel.
Now he's going to need that 115, 16 speed down here. Ecovani doesn't have it. This is going to be close. He's coming uphill now, losing more speed. He will not. So the Italian will move up one more and post his best finish ever for Gaspari.
Mattia Gaspari. Good run from him in the second heat. He moves up the order again.
So this track, I mean, the sport itself, it's tough to find where they do good, where they do bad, other than looking at the clock. Here, it's the exit of that turbodrome, the Kreisel. The Italian hit it cleanly. These were good lines here, down through the bend away.
Bit of a skid, but it's not here.
Yeah, there's some. You can see the sled wavering a little bit. Decent speed. He couldn't get out of the out of the turbodrome right here. Watch the left side of your screen. Bang. That's it. He was green. Went to red numbers quickly.
Yeah. When you're dealing with a few hundreds, then one hit on the wall down there takes it all away. So the British team heads off to lick its wounds. Next up is Barrett Martineau for Canada.
One of those beautiful helmets that the Canadians feature. One of the number of ski jumpers. There's 3 of them in the field. This might be one of his best performances ever.
Yep. Last year was his rookie season in the World Cup.
Start. Be the 19th best start. So look at that helmet. Grizz. A couple grizzly bears we're going to have from the Canadians.
We do.
Start way off the pace, 479. 200's better, though, than his first run. Now the form. This is what got him in the field in this position he's in. One tap. Let's see his toes. 119 plus. They're going to have speed. He's got that. Now can he exit the turbodrome? Clean.
That's what it's about. No little brush on the wall.
No, he's only got 2/10. Now he's going to need that 116 speed down here. He's going to lose his placing. 114's not bad. He exits.
Very close. 400's behind.
No, he's going to drop at least one spot, because once you lose that speed going uphill, there's no chance of gaining it back.
Mattia Gaspari has the lead. Barrett Martineau in second place.
So Gaspari's in his best position he's ever been in, but I think Martineau might be in one of his best finishes ever.
Well, last year his best was a 16th place. His best this year, 15th in Altenburg. He'll be no lower than 14th. So yes, that will be his best World Cup race. Last year he was 18th here in Königssee.
So he didn't exit the Kreisel as you need to be. The slingshot effect. You can see him coming across the ice and toe dragging. He's just trying to survive at 70 miles an hour. Look at these pictures. Just think of your chin a couple inches off the ice at 70 miles an hour. That's all.
Yeah.
On a little train.
Well, with a bit of Blue Danube playing, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to imagine that there's an Austrian at the top of the track. Franz Josef Strauss introduces Matthias Guggenberger. And he is not the better placed of our 2 Austrian sliders. He had a decent run, the 31-year-old, but it was his young teammate, Rafa Meyer, who just
smoked it.
Yeah.
With a bad start. So it is possible. Mickey Guggenberger, the former Austrian world champion, medalist. Austria used to dominate men's skeleton in the 90s. Fallen off a little bit since the retirement of Martin Rettel, who now coaches them. Now he's got a half-second lead, but this track, it can take your time any place, starting here. You're going to have a tap over here. One tap, toes out, nope. So now he needs that 119 high speed. He's got that.
Pretty much everybody has made it onto the prize
right here.
Can
he get out?
It's that
right there. Now he struggles. Now the speed's going to be down in the 20s. And now you hear him scratching. 114's not bad. Coming uphill.
Chin on the ice.
Oh yeah, this is enough. This might be out of single digits, but this should be enough for him to take the lead from the Italian. There it is.
And he does take the lead by 1/10 of a second
Great
from
performance.
Mattia Gaspari. And again, Mattia's best this season has been 15th. He will be no worse than 13th. And I think that is a career high. No, ties his best result, 13th last year in Königssee in Bavaria.
Can't get out of the Turbodrome into the doodles or the chicane down here. Look at him struggling. You know, this was a good run into the Kreisel, but we haven't seen too many clean exits of that Kreisel from anybody. The challenges of this track. I mean, look how beautiful the place is.
Well, there is a man who hopefully will enjoy a little bit of skeleton action on his 100th birthday. Happy birthday to Alf Clausen, Grandpa Alf. Dave Krecheshin of Canada will be home to see him very soon. December 12th, 1915. It's a long, long time ago since Alf Clausen was born.
Hope he's watching at home.
Yeah, I hope he's going to have a fantastic day. Apparently, he just got himself a treadmill recently to keep in shape. I tell you what, if Grizz has inherited any of those genes, he could be around for a long time to come.
Well, he's the oldest man in the competition. Started really late. He's the biggest man, thickest man in the competition. He's also the only rugby player we got out here. You know, he had big speed in the bottom part of the track.
Tied for 10th place after the first heat.
He had top 5 speed, top 6 speed in the exit Kreisel. It was very good. Here, Grizz, as they call him. See if he can get the 120 plus speed. He's got 120 flat. That's not as good as he had the first run. But he got out of Kreisel pretty clean in the first run. See if he does it here. Yes.
Again.
Look at the clean body. 1700s with 117 kilometer speed. He could overcome that. Ooh. I don't know. Uphill. The big body mass down to 10. He's coming.
Here he comes. He's got that momentum. Will he pick Guggenberger at the line by 500s?
Ran out of track. He ran out of track.
Yeah, run out of momentum. 500ths of a second away.
Got beat by 800s at the start and only 5 at the bottom. We talk about if you're beat by 800s at the top 3 times multiplier, he should have got beat by 24 at the bottom. So the Grizz drove a better sled, but he didn't have the better speed here in this heat as he did in the first heat on the exit of Kreisel. Here is out of the S's, the snakes, 4 S's, the snake pit they call it. Hey, but he celebrates his grandfather's birthday today.
He's number 1.
There you go.
Number 1.
Yes, he is. 100 years old. We should all live to be healthy and happy at 100. Matthias Guggenberger leads from Dave Krecheshin of Canada. Mattia Gaspari, his career high, 13th place, no worse at the moment. 10 sleds to go here in Königssee in Bavaria, and the first of those, tied with Krecheshin after the first heat, was Pavel Kulikov. 7th fastest starter, 10th at the bottom of the track.
He's got a little problem down the exit of that Turbodrome also. Good starter. There's Willy Schneider, the German coach, coaches the Russians. He builds their sleds. Russian women, with the awesome starts that they had, didn't do well again yesterday. Very surprising, because when you have those type of start times, you should have a top 10 finish. They struggled again dearly.
In the green, which means he leads Mattia.
That's not good, though. 1 hit. And 2 hits, skidding, 118 kilometers probably speed. Yeah, there it is. So he's 2 kilometers back to the Austrian at the bottom. Can he get out of here? Barely. He's already red numbers. His time was already deficient before he got into the Kreisel. 112, 4 or 5 kilometers. He could drop 3-4 places here.
Well, he was only 200s in front of our current leader,
He's going to
Matthias
drop 3
Guggenberger,
places
from the
at least.
first heat, and he comes across the
4
line in
places.
5th. Wow. Googie stays in the lead with 9 to go, so that's a top 10 finish guaranteed for Matthias Guggenberger.
Another young Russian, though, just doesn't have the experience, especially on a technical track like this. The heart of sliding here in Bavaria and Berchtesgaden. And look at the skid coming out of the 4th S, the snake pit. Look at him coming across the ice. And, you know, having those runners skid across the ice in a sport, you're dealing with hundredths of seconds and speed. Not the way to do it. This is probably the worst line we've seen of the first 10 sleds in the competition in the second round.
Well, there's Pavel. Mathieu Guggenberger, our current leader, and Matthias was in 10th place last year on this track. Now, we're going to have an Austrian leading at the end of this run because his teammate Raphael Meyer is next up. Meyer started 23rd.
Had the 23rd best start time, too.
Yeah.
So this isn't an oxymoron here. This tells you this kid can drive. And his brother will compete a little bit later on this afternoon in the two-man bobsled event.
Mixed emotions now for Matthias Guggenberger. Wants to see his teammate do well, but maybe not too well.
There's a competition and a competition right there between those two Austrians. And you probably don't want to watch the start time. Let's get through the first curve. And just, okay, he's got the worst start of the first 11. There it is. Okay, now watch him hit the first curve. Does he hit that bump? No. Really quiet around that first curve. And boy, if he does what he did in the first run, he motors down here. He'll get 100, high 120 speed, and the cries will make you be online. But let's see if he can get through the S's first. No, this is not as good a run as he had in the first two.
Yeah, too much pinballing down the straight. He's 2/10 down already.
Yeah, he's 3 kilometers down from his first run. So this is not what he had in the first run. He could fall 4 or 5 places here. Yeah. This is nothing like he had in the first run. But, you know, he's 20 years old.
8th on the splits. He could drop way down to the tail of the field here. 9th on the split times, behind Switzerland's Ronald Ardesect, who is 20th in the first heat.
Right. 52.00.
Yeah.
No one's happy about that. He's gone 8,200 slower than his first run. So, Raphael, if you could do 2 like you did the first one, you'd be up there in the top 10 for your best finish ever.
And that will come with age and experience. Doesn't have quite the smile that he did after the first heat. And even his teammate, Matthias Guggenberger, couldn't bear to watch that.
1 hit, skidding, 2 hits. Come over to the left wall, 3 hits. What do you say about it?
Oh, and that's a big hit as well. Lifts him off the sled. There's a lot of energy.
He only had 117 speed. He had 120.9 speed in the first run.
First heat, he trickled down there like he was the 3rd Ducour's brother. Second heat, a nightmare. First of our German athletes in the field was the man who started the competition, Michael Zakrav, the 21-year-old rookie from Oberhof, lies in 8th place.
Another one of those ski jumpers that have crossed over. Germans have a very young program. The German girls don't get great starts, but they first and second again yesterday.
First day on ice was 4 years ago. Here he is in the top 10 in the World Cup in his rookie season.
471. Well, he had 478 in the first heat. Inconsistent there to go 700s better. Didn't have a lot of... Didn't have great out of the S's in the first run. Right here, coming up. Some issues here.
Not a bad exit.
He had it going across the ice sideways.
But that 1 tap is all you need. You can't avoid 1 tap. You don't want any more.
Very good speed. Now let's see if he can get out of this turbodrome without hitting. Nope.
Not bad.
That isn't good. That isn't good. Yeah, we're going to see 112, 111. So now he's going uphill. He's going to lose all that back. Should be red numbers here pretty quick. There it is. And he should lose at least 2 spots here.
Yeah, he's going to drop back.
3 spots.
Whoa, and that's bad news.
Well, he can look on and... Disappointing, but he's young. You know, the Germans, coached by Jens Mueller. There's the crowd. Out of the... You know, you see that little tap on the exit of Turbodrome and then down here into the straightaway. It's pretty difficult when you see him feet coming off the sled like that. And, you know, that's relative to why that Austrian's still in the lead. Matthias Guggenberger is up there in the top 7, top 8 now, so this is a great run for him. Next up, our Russian friend. Tregobov, this is the youngest youngest of the Russians here, and the junior world champion, tied to the 100th of a second last year. He gets great starts. 5th best start in the first run, and 4:68 in this run, and exact same time as he had the first run.
Yeah, Chekabov, joint junior world champion last year with Christopher Grothair. Just again came undone after the Kreisel. That's the one hit you can afford. Any skidding down the straightaway, though, will rob you of speed and take you offline.
Big speed, big speed. If he gets out of here, he'll put down a run and has a chance to get a medal. And he sneaks out of there, but not perfect. You can see it with the feet coming off the sled. Now, 116 kilometers, no, 114.6 isn't bad. He'll be the leader, but I don't know if this is good enough to creep up into the medals for this young Russian, who Alexander Trechikov says that this is the future star of Russian skeleton sliding right here.
Just not too soon.
Yeah.
just let me win another Olympic medal in Korea, and then maybe I'll think about retiring.
Well, he could have got out of Kreisel. Turbodrome, as they call it here.
Face tells you everything you need to know about that run, doesn't it? Yeah, whatever. Moving on.
Watch how high he is here. Feet apart. And then he sneaks out and taps that little right-hand wall, and then the feet are off the sled, trying to rudder himself through. Catches the wrong angle into that big Kelstein left. He's the leader, but not a happy leader.
No. Quarter second out of the medals, and he didn't really do enough there to push himself any closer, I don't think. Next up is the man with whom he was the joint junior world champion last year, Christopher Grothair, double junior world champion, 2013. In 2015, he tied with Trechikov. Grothair has the opportunity, perhaps, to push himself into the medals.
Needs a better start than the 4:74 he had in the first run. He does. Good. Now watch as he hits that curve. Takes a little bit of it. Speed, not the 64 magic speed that I think you would need that the Russian just had. Watch the exit here.
Well, it's here on down that he's got to outdrive Trechikov because he can't outstart him.
Speed, 120, 120.9, good speed. If he gets out of here clean, he will be the leader.
Much less fuss in the Kreisel, and
he is clean. Beautiful lines. This should be green numbers. Should be 115 kilometer speed down here. No, 117. So that shows you how you...
By 2/10.
Yeah, he gets rewarded for that exit of Kreisel, unlike the Russian.
And look how much faster he just looks to the human eye.
50.71, 800's better. Jens Mueller, the coach, looks on. He's happy with that. This will put 2 German sliders in the top 5, most likely. And Mueller, if you don't remember, he won the 1988 Olympic Games gold medal in Luge for East Germany. He's taken over this program 5-6 years ago, and it's starting to see some results. Look at the form. This might be the best form we've seen in the Kreisel Turbodrome yet. And watch the way he exits the curve. Now here we down in the Echovand, where the speed, no one had speed like him. Trechikov, you had the best. Grothair, second best. But with the best exit that he had of the Turbodrome, that gave him the chance on the bottom part of the track to have a better run.
If you can come through the labyrinth without hitting anything, you will gain so much speed on your rivals. He looks happy with that. Christopher Grothair leads, 5 to go. Last week, Axel Jung of Germany claimed his first ever World Cup podium, unbelievably, for a man who was 3rd in the points at the end of last season, his rookie year. 2014 Junior World Champion, yelled off by his personal coach, Dirk Matchens.
67 in the first heat, 65 there. Great. How does he get there? Pretty quietly around that first curve. 44, 64-2. That's great. And bronze medal last week. This is a rising star in the German program. How's those lines? Little tap, because he continued to one toe out. 121 speed will give him a chance to have a medal. There's 120.8. Now he has to exit perfectly here.
The final pressures are coming darting down the hill. That gets you.
A little late.
Gap's going to come down to a 10th. Maybe into
115.2. He does not have the speed that his teammate did. Now he's going uphill. I don't think he's going to hold it.
Jung is going to drop behind Christopher Groothair. And Groothair will lead with 4 to go here.
2 Germans going to be in the top 5. No worse than that. Mueller doesn't like that. He was hoping for, I see a better run out of Axel Jung, who again won the medal last year.
Yeah, Axel Jung.
Last week, excuse me.
In second place, Christopher Groothair with the lead, and 4 to go here still in Königssee. The first run was a beauty from Axel Jung.
Look at the
second one, the start was good.
There. Hips, quads, hit the sled first. Great technical ability. Second best start so far. And a little drift here in the exit of the bottom part of the track. Echo Vond, and look at Sophia Grable. Look, she knows that's where he lost his speed on the bottom. Going uphill. There's 10/1500ths there.
Yeah. Well, these 2 men have won the last 3 Junior World Championships in men's skeleton. 4 to go, including Ironman. Sunbin Yun of Korea. First ever race on the Königssee track. Altenburg, the season opener, it was his first view of that track as well. In between last week, Winterberg. Yeah, he'd raced there before. He raced in the World Championships in February.
64 start. Everybody else has been better. He should be in the low 60s. 59. Wow. How's he hit that first curve? Takes up a lot of that top of that curve, and he comes over the left side of the straight, our left. 64.6 is some pretty awesome speed on a guy who's probably got the biggest quads in the competition.
And the least knowledge of the track in the competition.
Only 1 tap there, foot out though. 120 plus is the magic speed on the left. He's got that. Can he get out of this turbodrome cleanly?
One of the things Richard Bobby says about Sun is how well he learns tracks. He gets this sport so well.
Speed, not the 117 we saw from the German Groothair, but still got enough. This is definitely for at least the lead. Whether or not it's for a medal, doesn't know yet. Best time of the run, though, 50.53. 10/100ths better than his first run.
50.53 would put him in 3rd place after the first heat.
So
lots of the
Germans pack up. They're
Korean officials down at the bottom who'll be running the track in Korea.
They're all the red jackets are all taking the FI or the IBSF jury tests to run the competitions as officials. So there's a lot of red jackets from Korea around here looking on intensely. Look at the start. Look at the thighs on this dude. Watch the power step on. Yeah, he gets it nicely with his hips hitting first, and the Iron Man helmet. Look at him get comfortable on the sled. He's big. Look at the size of this guy. Yeah. He's a bigger athlete than the next 3 guys we're going to see.
If he couldn't drive skeleton, what a
bobsled.
What a bobsled brakeman
he could be. And he's young enough where he could transfer over.
No, he'll want to win as a driver. Sunbin Yun of Korea leads. He was only a few hundreds out of the top 3 in the first heat. 3rd place, Martins Dukos of Latvia. Again, the traveling Latvian fans making lots of noise.
He doesn't have that much of a lead. Only about 500ths on the Korean at the bottom, and 472. 200ths better than his first run. And watch his feet together. He's a half a kilometer down in speed right now, and he's in red numbers.
Well, Jung started 1300ths faster.
16. He needs 121 speed here. If he doesn't get up to high 120s, he's not going to hold his spot.
So I'm shifting the
hips. He's got 121.5.
Here we go.
And if he gets out of here cleanly, he doesn't. Got it down to 10, but I don't know. Going to need 116 speed here to have a chance in the uphill section, bottom part of the crack point.
2 kilometers now, slower than he was in the first run.
Not going to do it.
He's going to be in the medals again. Yun of Korea leads as Thomas Dukos falls to 2nd spot. Sunbin Yun of Korea in the medals once more.
Yeah, he wasn't. The speed he had in the entrance of Kreisel, he was penalized with a quick exit. He knows it. He made a mistake. up into that part of the, he was perfect. You know, with an efficient start time compared to the Korean. Here's out of the 4 S's. A little skid there too, and think of the speed, 121.5. Then here's the mistake.
Yep.
Bang.
And
That's
he was
it.
clean as a whistle in the first heat.
That was
straight down the middle.
And then look at his feet coming off the sled and a little waving and through the chicane or the doodles. Canadian team gave there's a leader with 2 to go.
More cheers for Latvia. Because next up is the man who is looking for his 40th career victory in World Cup sliding, Martins Ducours. He and Alexander Tretiakov, to all intents and purposes, are tied for the lead. They are 0.02 of a second apart.
But he knows he has to go better at the start. Tretiakov beat him by 900ths. Excuse me, by 900ths in the first run. He's going to have to go 463 to get closer to Tretiakov, because Tretiakov probably going to break the track record at the start. 462.
It's a track that's been a problem over the last couple of years for Martins Ducours. Won the World Championship here in 2011. He's won 3 of 5 races, but he's been beaten by Tretiakov last year and crashed out 3 years ago.
He crashed out, still finished 6th.
Yeah.
37 hundredths up. Now, his brother just had problems here at the exit. 121 what type of speed? 122.4.
Quicker than his first run.
That's a perfect form. He hasn't even dropped a toe.
Tiniest
Look at this. 117 speed down here. He could break a track record.
118.8, quicker than the first heat.
Could be a track record. 3/4 a second.
The record is 50.23. Tretiakov said it in the first
There it
heat.
is.
It's 50.03.
How do they keep...
0.2 of a second. I see your 50.23 and I raise you a 0.3. That's a stunning drive.
You see why we call this guy Superman. He just always pressured to win gold medals, and he seems like he always delivers. He came from behind in the first week in Altenburg to win the gold. Last week he won going away.
Think that felt like a good run?
Well, okay, he didn't even put his toes out in the Kreis.
No, the line is perfect coming off the Schlangengruber.
When we talked about him being a video game, I mean, this is, if they had a Madden video game for this sport, he'd be on the cover for sure. Look at the speed.
118.4 the first heat, 118.8 the second. There's a whole host of female skeleton athletes down at the bottom watching the coaches monitor, learning how to slide this track.
Okay, we just saw a track record at the top or the bottom. We're going to see a track record here at the start. Watch.
Alexander Tretiakov, start record he set in February in the World Championships 2011, 4:54.
Should be 4:52. The Russian rocket. Ooh,
skids.
4:58. That was a mishap, and that's going to cost him. He came out of the start grooves and immediately drifted to the right before that clock registers. So something happened there. Everybody else has got faster. He got slower.
Led by 200s, gap is down to 1.
Speed not going to be 100. He's almost 2 kilometers down to Ducours. He could fall 2 places when he's clean there.
118.8 the mark for Ducours. He's 1,500s back. He needs astonishing speed here. He hasn't got it. Martins Ducours is going to claim his 40th career win, and Alexander Tretiakov could drop down to 3rd place at the line. He's 2nd, and Ducours wins his 3rd of the season and his 40th career World Cup victory. He turns over last year's winner and reverses the situation. Last year, Tretiakov took gold and Ducours silver, and this year, Alex is in the silver medal position and Martins is the winner.
To start, something happened here. Watch this come out of the grooves and immediately go to the right.
Yeah, he wasn't quite settled.
Something happened here. You know, look at the sled turn to the right. Look at the sled. His toe comes out.
Yeah.
That's it. Then the clock's right here. So that's all of a sudden why he's 500 slower right there. And the mistake. And he's still on the wrong side of the curve on that straightaway. So.
And when we're talking of hundreds, we are talking about polishing perfection. Martins Ducours.
40 times he's won the World Cup.
Wow.
and he's won 4 world championships. The only thing that man hasn't done is win an Olympic gold medal.
And given that there are only 8 World Cup races in a season, that is 5 years worth of wall-to-wall victories.
What did he win, 6 out of 8 last year?
Yeah. His best year was 2 years ago, 7 out of 8.
I don't know if anybody in the sliding sports has ever dominated like that guy.
Yeah.
And we have to go back 100 years and the records that we have. Nobody in bob or skeleton or luge can do what this man, the Superman. This is what we gave him the name 4 or 5 years ago, and all he did on the second run was lower the track record by some ridiculous amount and prove to everybody again he's the best slider in the world technically, and great start.
Yesterday, Tina Hermann lowered the track record by 62 hundredths of a second. Today, Martins Ducours has lowered the track record by 62 hundredths of a second. He wins over Alexander Tretyakov. Sunbin of Korea on the podium for the first time this year, ahead of Thomas Ducours, Christopher Groother, and Axel Junk. And Dave Krejceshin of Canada, 9th position. That's a really good run for the Canadian here on his grandpa's 100th birthday. Yes, we had a hard frost Thursday night into Friday. It wasn't so hard today, but you just looked at the track this morning and it looked like a sheet of glass, and that's when you know it's going to be fast. All the signs were there, and boy, they didn't fail to deliver, did they?
Well, I'm sitting here looking across the way at Tretyakov. He's got his coaches. They're looking at times. He just crumpled up the paper, gave it back to his coach, and he's sitting there pondering. I can see him smirking a little bit, and but definitely we know where he lost the race. He lost it in the start, well,
and it's all those little increments. He wasn't quite as fast in the start. He was still in front out of the S's, and when you're talking about 200s, any tiny, it doesn't matter how tiny the error is, that's it, it's gone. And in the end, it was more than that. He lost 0.4 of a second to Ducours on the second run.
My favorite finish of the day, though, is Gasperi of Italy. 10th place for him.
Career
How about
high.
the Grizz, though? 9th place for the Canadian Dave.
And Matthias Guggenberger of Austria, 8th place for him as well.
Too, yeah.
I mean, it shows he's in such good form as we head to
7 nations in the top 10.
Yeah.
And 3 nations in the top 3. That's great. That tells you the diversity of our sport. Yeah,
some personal bests going on here this weekend.
Thomas Ducours with the 10th best start, finishing 4th. The guys with the 3 best starts are the guys with the 3 best finishes.
Yep.
Boy, that Sunbin Young from Korea, watch out for that guy.
Yep.
He is massive.
Martins Ducours thanking the crowd here in Latvian for their support, and that's justified. They follow him everywhere. A beautiful setting of the Königssee, the King's Lake, below the track here in Berchtesgaden, Bavaria. Martins Ducours continues his unbeaten streak this season. 3 wins from 3 starts. Alexander Tretyakov, 3 silver medals in what was a nail-biting, record-crushing race here in Königssee. They go into the Christmas break with Ducours unbeaten, but Tretyakov led the first heat. Ducours knew he had to be absolutely flawless. And John Morgan, it was another impeccable computer game drive.
Look at his feet. Everybody else has got their feet out. They're tapping to get in out of this Kreisel. Look at him. It's, a video game when this guy comes down the track. He lowers the track record by 62 hundredths of a second. It's unbelievable the way this man performs in this sport. The consistency is unbelievable.
Ducours, the Olympic champion Tretyakov, and the coming man, Sunbin of Korea. That is your top 3.
This could be a picture of what we're going to see 2 years from now, right here.
Wow.
Maybe not in this order, but that guy on the right.
When we get to North America, tracks that Yun knows well, I think we could see him take to the top step. For the moment, he's in the bronze medal position behind Tretyakov and Ducours. And that's it as they head into the Christmas break. Martins Ducours continues his streak. 40 wins in the World Cup. We'll see them next time out in Lake Placid in upstate New York. Until then, from Königssee in Bavaria, it's Auf Wiedersehen and goodbye.